Maybe I want to do the base max modes, but I don't know. Bit Crush is more appealing to me right now.
Well, I'm doing the base presets now. Welcome back to FNAF Journey to the Max Mode. If you're new here, first of all, consider subscribing obviously. Secondly, if you don't know what this series is, let me explain it real quick. Basically, I'm going to be taking some of the hardest or most recognizable FNAF challenges on the Max Mode list and try to complete them myself, while also talking about or showing my own personal experiences with them. This series mainly serves as a way to make these modes more entertaining to anyone outside the community, as well as possibly bring some newcomers in. In fact, if you're interested yourself, you can find some links to the MML website and Discord down in this video's description below. Anyways, now that we're all caught up, let's talk about the max mode that I'll be doing for this video, and that is How Did We Get Here Plus Plus. For those who watched the previous video, you'll know that I've actually already covered the game this max mode is from, titled Lost Location Custom Night. However, I only talked about the bonus Bit Crush modes, as the main focus for that video was Bit Crush 5. Since that's now done and dusted, I figured that I might as well test the waters with the original base game presets. Before we begin covering what the base game has to offer though, I should mention that due to the length of How Did We Get Here Plus Plus, with it being a stamina/endurance mode and whatnot, there will be less scripted content before the completion itself, and basically no highlights, especially since I was sick and coughing throughout most of my experience playing the presets. Obviously not the game's fault, I just wanted to mention all of this for context. Also, since the max mode is so long, I'll be doing my best to provide some commentary over the completion itself, to make it feel less boring or whatever. So, let's talk characters. This game has a total of 8 characters, with 2 of them being office characters, 5 of them being camera characters, with 1 of them being crucial to beat the night with, and 1 of them technically being both. Going in order of appearance, let's start with Freddy. He's always in your office and will occasionally activate in case these listed actions happen. 1, if you're luring Static Guy to a different camera, 2, if you're using the power generator, 3, if Phone Guy spawns in, and 4, if you have any amount of lures placed down. The more these actions are performed, especially with how many lures are placed down, the more often Freddy activates. In order to deactivate him, you just need to flash your light into his eyes. Next up are Bonnie and Chica. Since they're both pretty similar in how they function, I'll be covering them both at the same time. They first start in Camo 1 and can randomly move every 5 seconds. For every successful movement opportunity, they also play a sound cue alongside each movement, with Bonnie's sounding like this, and Chica's sounding like this. Do note that these aren't their only sound cues, I'm just providing some examples for this explanation. Once Bonnie reaches Camo 8, place a high lure on that camera and keep it there until he goes away, otherwise he'll jump scare you obviously. Once Chica reaches Camo 9, place a high lure on Cam 10 and keep it there until she goes away. If she reaches Cam 10, she doesn't instantly kill you, but she stays there forever and cannot be pushed back to any other camera. She'll then end your game on her next movement opportunity, assuming you don't have a high lure placed on that camera, as that stalls her. Foxy starts in Camo 5 behind his curtains and will remain deactivated or stalled until you click away from his camera, and if there isn't a medium lure placed on his camera. Note that he's still stalled if you have the monitor down, assuming that you're either on his camera or have a medium lure placed there, which becomes super important for a certain requirement later on. Once he's successfully out of his curtains, he'll pick between the left hall and the right hall to run down towards. If he runs down the left hall, his running sound will be played in both ears, and you'll need to place a high lure on Camo 8 for any amount of time in order to send him back. If he runs down the right hall, then his running will only be played in your right ear, and you'll have to place a high lure on Camo 9 for any amount of time. Fredbear can act as both a camera character and an office character. For his office mechanics, he'll simply appear as a hallucination and take away some power the longer he stays. All you need to do is use a flashlight in the office in order to make him disappear. For his camera mechanics, whenever he activates, he'll be in Camo 5 and laugh in one of 3 pitches. Depending on said pitch, you'll have to place a specific lure on that camera in order to deactivate him. I'll play each laugh and list each type of lure needed right now. One more thing for Fredbear, you can alternatively tell what lure he needs by the color of his eyes, but that requires using the camera lights on Camo 5. This strategy also doesn't work in some of the later presets due to a certain challenge being active, which I'll talk about later. Springtrap is pretty simple. When flipping up your monitor, he can occasionally appear on them, and not flipping down in time will result in him jump scaring you and taking away 20% of your power. He also disables the feed on your cameras for a short period of time, however, you can still access them in order to place and remove lures. When Phone Guy activates, his mute button will be on top of the actual phone sprite itself to the right of the office. If you leave him ringing for a total of 5 seconds after he spawns in, then he'll disable the ability to place or remove lures. Clicking on the mute button causes him to deactivate, obviously. Now, let's finally talk about Static Guy. Since he's basically crucial in order for any base knight in this game to progress, I'll be talking about the knight as a whole in this section. In order to complete a knight, you'll have to send Static Guy to either Camo 8 or Cam 10, and you'll need to do so with adjacent cameras. Static Guy always starts in Camo 2, meaning that you'll have to send him through at least 2 cameras to complete the knight, as the most optimal path is Camo 2, then Camo 5, then Camo 8. If he's currently occupying a camera, that camera will be filled with static, both visually and audibly. Once he actually reaches either Camo 8 or Cam 10, the knight doesn't immediately end, as he'll fumble around with his keys for about 40 seconds before finally opening the door, which then actually ends the knight. One more important thing to mention, there's actually a power generator in this game, and it's actually implemented pretty decently. Crazy, I know. Anyways, sarcasm aside, this basically allows you to generate as much power as you need for the night, especially since pretty much any action that you can do takes away quite a bit of power. That being said, there are a few caveats with the power generator, and just the power in general. For starters, you can't use the generator if any lures are currently placed down. You also can't go above 100% power, and as soon as you reach 0% and power out, that's when you quite literally can't use anything anymore, including the power generator. Basically just keep track of the power itself and you'll mostly be fine. Now that we've gotten everyone out of the way, let's talk about the first batch of presets. The FNAF 1 preset was pretty simple, and despite needing to get used to the static eye inclusion, it was still a pretty fast completion, especially since I already knew everyone's mechanics from the Bit Crush modes. Fredbear and Springtrap were also completely disabled, so I really only had to focus on the bottom right cameras, and I didn't have to worry about quickly flipping down the monitor. Foxy was the only tricky character, but that's just because I was trying to learn how to deal with him in regards to the Cove Keeper achievement, which we'll talk about later. Next up is Fredbear's Family and Diner, which is arguably even easier than the last preset. The only difficult character I had to deal with was Springtrap, and even then it was only because I was trying not to get jump scared by him for the full focus achievement, which we'll also talk about later. Bears and Bunnies is pretty much what it implies. The only characters that are active, besides Static Eye of course, are the bears and the bunnies. Excluding the max modes and presets with extra challenges or requirements enabled, this is probably the hardest preset out of the ones we've covered so far, but it was still pretty easy due to, once again, my Bit Crush 5 skill boost. The strat here is to keep track of Springtrap and the power, then deal with the rest of the crew whenever they're ready to attack. The Pest is practically like Fredbear's Family and Diner, especially if you're like me and are trying to go for the Cove Keeper and full focus achievements. The only major differences are that you'll need to flash Freddy every once in a while, and assuming what I've said before about the achievements, you'll need to place a medium lure on Cam 5 every time you aren't on it, in order to stall Foxy. Now it's time to talk about the Bit, the first base max mode of Lost Location Custom Night, with everyone on their max levels for the entire night, but no challenges or requirements are enabled yet. Despite this, I still wanted to go for 2 of those requirements, those being, yet again, Full Focus and Cove Keeper. In fact, those achievements were actually the reason I took a bit longer on the Bit despite my experience with the Bit Crush modes, as stated before, as I kept resetting to Springtrap jump scaring me or accidentally letting Foxy out. That being said, a bit longer really only equated to like 5 attempts compared to 1 or 2 for each of the previous presets. With the beginning presets and base max mode out of the way, this is now the time to talk about the other side of the coin, that being the additional challenges and requirements alongside the animatronics that you can enable. Despite there being so many challenges though, once you understand what they all do, they honestly don't add too much to the night compared to the requirements, even if they may overall be harder. So, let me try my best to quickfire through all of them. Hyper Freddy. Freddy will activate more often, specifically when you're either using the power generator or luring Static Eye to a different camera. Fox or Foxy. Foxy is more active throughout the night. Specifically, his position or move timer only gets paused when you're stalling his camera through either method. Normally, it resets. Killer Theory. Fredbear will kill you if you put the wrong lure on his camera instead of simply just not going away. This is one of the challenges always active in the Bit Crush modes, and is actually the one I die to the most due to how punishing it is, at least in my opinion. Permatrap. Springtrap always appears on your monitor and is slightly less visible, but he'll take much longer to jumpscare. Another challenge active in the Bit Crush modes, and in my opinion, this actually makes Springtrap easier to deal with, especially once he becomes lethal later on. Hello, hello! Phone Guy appears in a random location every time he spawns in. Yet another challenge active in Bit Crush, but in this, he won't try to dodge your mouse cursor. Static Shock. Static Guy will multiply power drainage by an extra 50% when entering the office through either camera. The Party. Bonnie's and Chica's movement timers are randomized from 4 to 5 seconds, instead of just always being at 5 seconds. Lights Out. You can no longer use the camera lights and your vision in the office is severely limited to where your cursor is. Again, that might seem like a lot to keep track of, but most of them are really just slight buffs or variations for the existing characters, and you'll get used to them eventually. The real challenge for How Do We Get Here++ is the requirements. First up is Cove Keeper. In order to earn this achievement, you must not let Foxy leave Camo 5 ever. This isn't too much of an issue without the Fox or Foxy challenge, so long as you keep him behind his curtains and constantly reset his position. However, once he's out of the closet, or once you've enabled Fox or Foxy, that's when you have to be much more careful and not make as many slip-ups. Still, this is probably the easiest requirement of the three, since you can make a few mistakes and still be good, as he actually needs to leave Camo 5 in order for you to game over. Just make sure to place a medium lure on his camera every time you're about to click off, and you're basically good to go. Next up is Full Focus. This makes practically every character, except Static Guy, a lethal threat that you need to quickly deal with. What do I mean by that? Well, you can't let Phone Guy ring for a total of 5 seconds each time he activates, you can't let Fredbear hallucinations linger for a total of 4 seconds when they appear, and you can't let Springtrap jumpscare you. If any of these things happen, your game will prematurely end, meaning that you'll have to deal with these issues even faster when they appear. Like with some of the challenges mentioned before, this is the one and only requirement of the main three that is active in the Bit Crush modes. And finally, we have Globetrotter. This is definitely the hardest requirement to adjust to, solely because of what you have to do in order to get it, and that is sending Static Guy to every single camera at least once before he enters the office. This increases the length of the night by a lot, and it's why both How Plus and How Plus Plus are so long and require a lot of stamina and endurance. Speaking of which, I think it's time to discuss the final few max modes and their strategies, before finally moving on to my How Plus Plus completion itself. If you're wondering why I'm not covering the rest of the presets, that's just because the quote-unquote static variations of the non-max mode presets are practically the same experience, except you have to deal with a bit more randomness with Bonnie, Chica, and Phone Guy, while also dealing with a much more limiting vision. The LAN party is practically the bit, except Chica's and Bonnie's movements are more randomized, and the opposite is true for the Nibble, which is basically the killer bite except their movements aren't randomized. If you still want to watch my full completions of them, as well as the other presets and max modes besides How Plus Plus, you can find links to them in the description down below. Now that we've gotten that disclaimer out of the way, let's first cover the shortest of the 3 extra max modes, aka the Killer Bite. So, in order to deal with Phone Guy, I would try to cover as much of the office as possible to spot his mute button, mainly by using some sort of circling technique. You can use any method you want, so long as it's effective at covering the entire office and you don't break your hands while doing so. With Fredbear, I take some time processing what pitch he left in before dealing with him fully, which resulted in fewer deaths to him compared to, say, my Bit Crush experience. As for Bonnie and Chica, once they appeared in either Camo 8 or Camo 9, I wouldn't immediately deal with them, but wait about a second or two before placing their respective lures. Maybe even 3 seconds if I'm feeling a bit risky. This was mainly just to conserve power, as I know that they still take some time to kill me. I just can't abuse 5-second intervals anymore, which is honestly fine. Other than those differences, my strategies were basically the same as they were in the bit, and I still went for the Cove Keeper and Full Focus achievements for How Plus Plus practice. Before we get to How Plus Plus though, we need to cover the gameplay loop of its easier counterpart. How do we get here? Singular Plus. First of all, it's important to know the fastest path in order to send Static Eye to every single camera, which is being shown on screen right now. Do note that Static Eye starts in Camo 2, so you don't need to send them there at all. You might also notice that we need to go through cams 4 and 8 twice, due to the rule of Static Eye only being able to go to adjacent cameras. Despite technically being immortal, he unfortunately can't teleport yet. Now for the second part of the gameplay, and that is dealing with all the animatronics. The general structure for this mode is basically the same as HAL++, so do keep that in mind. That being said, with the full focus requirement being enabled, the easiest and hardest characters involved with that requirement actually get swapped between Singular Plus and Double Plus, with Springtrap being harder in HAL Plus due to Permatrap being disabled, and Phone Guy being harder in HAL++ due to his character-specific challenge and Lights Out being enabled. Now, as for everyone else, it's important to know when to lure Static Eye and when to use the power generator, along with counteracting any animatronic about to attack. Me personally, I keep a cycle of luring Static Eye until the power gets to below 40%, then refill the power back up to around 60 to 80%, then repeat the cycle. If Bonnie or Chica need to be dealt with when power is close to 40% or when I'm currently using the power generator, like with the Killer Bite, I usually wait a bit before dealing with them so as to conserve power, though sometimes I do panic here and there and deal with them immediately, especially when Fredbear activates. Now comes Foxy. Like I mentioned before, you must either place a medium lure or be on Camo 5 itself in order to prevent him from leaving it. In the HAL Plus and HAL Plus Plus cycles, what you'll need to do is always have a medium lure placed on Camo 5 when luring Static Eye to any camera that isn't Camo 5 itself, especially since he'll only be visiting it once. Once you need to generate more power, make sure that you're on Camo 5 before flipping down the monitor, as you can't use the power generator when any lures are placed down. If you need to deal with Bonnie, Chica, or Fredbear during this part of the cycle, make sure to place a medium lure on Camo 5, then deal with them however you need to, then, for Chica and Bonnie specifically, go back to Camo 5, remove that lure, and wait in your office before they go away, before repeating all of that in order to remove their high lures and resume generating more power. And finally, let's mention Freddy and the Fredbear hallucinations. For Freddy, he's really not much of a threat, just flash his eyes whenever he activates. For the hallucinations, as soon as you see the power freaking out or hear the actual sound itself, quickly flip down your monitor and use your flashlight to get rid of them. Alright, now that those two max modes have been covered, hopefully that all should be enough information to understand my How Do We Get Here Plus Plus completion, since it takes everything about the Killer Bite cycle and the How Do We Get Here Plus cycle and combines them to be the ultimate test of endurance, skill, and knowledge about the game. Some final shoutouts though, obviously a big one to Kepler for making the game and explaining some of its mechanics in better detail, as well as generally giving me good tips on improving my skill. Shoutouts to Fast Little Boys too, since I was in a call with some of my fellow friends in it. Apologies if you're a bit too quiet though, I wanted to try and focus more on the game while still having fun and obviously remaining in the VC. Anyways, for those who've stuck around this far in the video, thank you and enjoy the completion.
Found a new way to do crash the game with big overflow, by the way. Noel.
Wait, Kristen, did you crash?
I crashed with big overflow.
It's little, didn't it? So did it crash?
Yeah, it crashed. I am dead. I don't hold my and I don't run without movement.
Do we check it? Delta's playing. Delta's playing. Okay, Nose. Nose is the other one. Nose.
I check my time.
We have soldier behind us. Yes, we're right there. Let's go up and 96 seconds.
Whoa!
I tried to do it craziness and I crazy.
Oxygen. Great.
I did that though, bro. I saw that going and I thought I'm not doing that play.
Actually, pretty
You have a brother card in there. Oh my god. Yo, I get to do the funny solution!
What?
Yeah!
What is this one?
I get to do the funny mouse groove.
How did you get the
Yeah, the first two.
Making sure.
Oh, go!
I'm losing time. I might be fine with that thing.
Wait, when you get to revive minutes after you get shot, you get one more back. Oh wait, no,
I do care because even
88 It's like most of them.
yeah, it's kind of disgusting.
Say, Delta is embarrassing.
Yeah, just a sister concept game.
Bro, you get money for sponsor. Yes, bro.
All the world famous hits.
World's best album. Bestseller album.
Surely we'll have enough tracks for an EP by the time Chapter 7 releases.
And the crowd will go wild when no one plays that. Right? That's the one that everyone comes for. He's got the promotional material.
Well, there's just fine.
Well, that happens. 45 times. You would say.
Low-key, I wouldn't be surprised if I
The problem is I didn't start in time because I didn't know what lines I'm doing, and I restarted. I had to actually have to switch text when it opened.
Oh,
this chapter's gonna be long, but then it's gonna
But I think that's probably for everyone. This board is
This is also chapter 2 and 3 going.
yeah, it's pretty small. Not many. Okay, yeah, I can type it out. There you go. There's the lines. I lost like 30 seconds.
I disagree. Stop with them.
You guys, what's your favorite niche one for 3 in the entire game? It has to be
Chapter 4, third sang. Okay, give me one. Okay.
Hear me out. It's technically not a wrong whip chain, but the dark chain, the inner dark chain. Is that exactly?
Oh, by the way,
That's
when I mean niche, I mean it doesn't have to be
no.
I fucking the TG1 backtracking one chain.
There is a pretty.
When do you do that? Oh.
There is a pretty good shade.
How about chapter 3 TR? That has to
I know one. Chapter 10, overflow, and then warping. That's
be. Oh my god.
There is one I really like. Is the homework chain of the golden sheets with the rising of the dark. That's funny. It's like,
That's funny.
and it's useful for doing.
Anyways, this is nice. I had to do like a final, and my hand missed the button when I meant to hit.
Like that.
There seems to be a decent amount of people working on it. There's a lot of options. That's pretty cool.
Well, there's one in the water.
Wait, they opened? And it had a bias.
Wait, oh my god, I just sat there.
Oh wait, but then not faster. But that's still faster. Sure.
Yeah, of course.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, I'm pivoting my right. Kind of fun. Is this faster?
Come on, what the fuck?
I don't see them.
There's no way this is
Oh, one more?
Where's the one?
I've not hit this.
Oh my god. Twice.
I have not hit the
I
seven
got
speed. I have not hit the seven. I'm like over 5%.
So do you get Steam notifications?
I got it, but bro, if I open it, I'm gonna have. My mouse is gonna disconnect. That one is gonna close. I got it. I gonna open
Take your time.
Okay, yeah, my right is better off this one, I guess.
Oh wait, I just wait. No, this is a fucking terrible goal. Wait a minute, I've got bored. I've got bored. Okay, we're doing this instead. Wait, what
Bro,
stage
getting
do I
this
have?
so fun. I go really friendly.
Ah, fuck it, we're gone. We keep it. Oh wait, I think I'll do that.
Yeah, we see the Wi-Fi switch.
No,
Dude, they're not acting on buildings. It's not what I'm doing.
gold item. Join the gun machine injection.
Please, I don't know how close. Is Delta waiting?
I don't.
It was so fun, but that's so much better.
When did I get this?
Oh wait, no, that goes not that bad. Oh wait, never mind. I'm fine.
There's how many enemies to the game?
That's what I'm trying to find out.
There's supposed to be
There's no sticking to it. Wait, I think I know what it is.
me and Nerd fight.
I think I know what it is doing because I was going to build that when I got
What did you do? What made you walk out?
because I haven't tried to do it. So I think I just didn't know.
How many armors can you buy and get since like it's really right?
I'm growing. That's what I'm doing. No, I'm losing. Like, it's basically, it is.
I don't know. Is that
I'm struggling right now.
no, let's do this first actually. Oh wait, I have to actually do this properly.
I need to have the greatest generation.
Pistol, I'm winning. Oh my god. I'm not continuing this with that.
I don't know how to crash fake overflow. I totally forgot how to do it. I don't know how to do early tournament.
Oh, realize that you have
That's okay, guys.
get to the end of the first, then I failed trying to get back.
What?
I forgot how to do it. Oh my god.
Just not.
Wait, I have to get this sugar cut out.
Son. Okay, just want 3 minutes.
Okay, like 2 good time.
I got it. I fucked up the crash. Oh my god. It's so fucking I'm actually losing.
Wait,
This is pissing me off.
Why are you trying to crash? That's not on the screen.
Top on left.
Sorry, don't do it.
For some reason, it just didn't register in my head.
So yeah, like I didn't mean to go for it, but I got it right.
Sure.
He
Like, it looks really good. I got sushi, let's go!
Nice.
Wait, you can see the good line, bro. You took too long to see the good line. I'm burning the piece. I'm not getting I almost got fucking
Finally! Oh my god. I think that took me about 4 minutes. Not 40
Why the fuck did I go for zero, man? With my brain just said, okay, turn my phone.
We are just set.
At least you didn't spend 4 minutes trying to crash.
Like, I didn't think the R's or the middle part. I think it was like,
I forgot. And I just. Revive me for 1 is B rank, right?
Maybe.
It's my nice consistent.
Good enough.
There is 0 chances. I refuse to win. Okay, so I was going to get the first one. So, but I asked if I could get the.
Oh fuck.
I did it practically, then I went back.
Jesus Christ.
Wait, okay, should I can do it?
Bro, we did twice.
Oh, right, this is the wrong
Yeah.
I will vlog it.
Wrong shot.
Yo, guys, this is 2 Susie Wednesday.
That is
Two
not as well.
is wild.
Jackenstein.
I'm collecting
Easy lands a battle in Farthest. No RNG, no RNG. Yeah, fight for it.
Bait and Filio.
Holy pool.
Yes, bro, we see the shit.
Scared.
Just replay for 1, bro. The top of you are in the 70%. Taxing the life style. You will learn to
I don't know the proper way. I still get like 15,000 I get worried every time.
And you can just the first whole section of lyrics you can just walk down.
Yeah, you can just say
Then then you play until like
Oh my god, clutch.
yeah, because everything in the back around there.
Go. I kept one. I don't lose the turnover! Yay!
Okay, I think I'm gonna go with. Good luck, everyone.
Dude, Rousey died after I used my F1 heal at the end of the battle, but I had to revive him.
Yo, that's so fun.
I already sold stuff, but I kept one. Oh yeah, deal makers in armor. I forgot about that.
Come on. More seconds. Come on.
Yes.
Please? Come on, this has to be it. This has to be it. Alright. GG. Why am I lagging? Okay. That's probably Discord. Alright. Let's go. That's my second hardest max mode for anyone who doesn't know in the call. Nice, dude.
Wait, did you win?
I beat it, yeah. How do we get here plus plus?
Oh, let's go.
Funny thing is, this was my first day of attempting it too. I guess. Okay, I could actually raise y'all in the call now. I should mention, this technically is. Oh. What is this?
You are? Okay.
Okay, alright. How did we
Yes,
get
I
here?
didn't even want to
I mean, come on, you had me running all over the place.
Dude, I hope I don't lose this.
And
I'm
when I
forgetting
finally
how
got
to
to the
crash.
door and fumbling for my keys, I peek inside and I see you fighting everything at once.
Oh,
In
I
the dark.
I'm sending it.
I mean, I installed lights
on my soul I'm
specifically
getting
in that room.
messages.
And trust me, they were super expensive
Please,
lights.
please.
You
No,
couldn't
98,
use them.
fuck off.
I mean, why are you doing this to yourself?
Of course.
You chose to do these extra shifts, and I didn't even want to do that.
Never mind. Oh my god.
I'd be angrier if I was in danger, but my appearance
I
messes, their facial
And I missed
sensors,
it.
it's only you in danger. And I don't get why you do it.
Where's like
First go for your life.
What's this?
This is the type of shit I
Maximum
can do.
What?
One? What?
Max
What are you on about? You know what? No.
What
no
is
more
this?
Mr. Static Nice Guy.
What is
We're
this?
done. It's over.
What
Goodbye.
is this? What is
What
this
is what?
cutscene? What? Alright. Oh my god, what was that? That was a really funny cutscene. No, I'm talking about apparently there's like a post for the game the mode that I just beat. Apparently there's a post cutscene and it's really funny. I don't know. Anyways, sorry, y'all can continue on your thing. I'm a little bit hyped, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that this is